Welcome to the Do More podcast, where we share strategies and tips for improving your life in every aspect. Here's your host, John Farling.
Welcome back to the Do More podcast. I'm your host, John Farling. This is episode 3, and as you can tell, each episode is a little bit different as far as video, audio, all that stuff. I feel like I'm in between two ferns with Zach Galifianakis. I'm just missing 2 ferns here. Maybe that'll be next episode. Anyways, trying to see where this goes, this podcast goes, and it's fun setting everything up. Got a new camera, new microphone, seeing where this thing goes, but it is kind of fun right now, even though I'm talking to a camera and essentially talking to myself. Hopefully this is going to be valuable for a lot of people, or some people. So today I want to talk about kind of something that a friend reminded me over the weekend. He texted me over the weekend, I think it was Sunday night, and said, hey, are you up for an accountability, not a program, but just like a text back and forth. He had some goals he wanted to hit this week. And I'm not picking on him at all. This is something that we all go through. And it just kind of reminded me, and it's easier for me to not necessarily pick on him, but kind of pick out the things that he brought up, because I'm on the other side. And, you know, I've said the same things he's saying, thinking, all that stuff. You know, we all have probably at some point. So I'm not at all picking on him. This is more or less a reminder of, you know, kind of what I want to do, what I want to be, those kind of things. So my response back to him after he asked, hey, should we start an accountability chat? He wanted to basically crush a few things this week with life, business, and he wanted me to hold him accountable. He asked if I had anything. So I responded back and said, you know, basically, long and short, you don't need me. You can do this on your own. At some point, if we're doing this accountability thing for a week or a month, whatever it is, you're going to fall off at the end once I drop off. You know, that's probably, and maybe it would kickstart them. There's some truth in that for sure. But I kind of wanted to push him a little bit, and probably also push myself a little bit too, because, you know, it's when questions like that happen, like I see myself in the question that he's asking me. So the thought that came to my mind, a question that came to my mind was, what are you doing when no one's watching? Right. So for him, I think he wanted to just, and I'm not throwing him out there, but a few things, and they're similar to what I do. Is he wanted to wake up at 6 o'clock. I know he said he's been struggling. Sometimes he gets up 6:30 or 7. He wanted to do a few more things, something with fitness and eating and calories and all that. So he had some goals that he wanted to accomplish, and he wanted someone to hold him accountable. And I basically said, you know, what are you doing when no one's watching you? You're gonna, at some point, if I was holding him accountable, he's gonna fall off afterwards. Even if I'm holding him accountable, what is that doing for him, right? In my mind, he's got some goals, which is awesome. And when I say he, like, I could be talking about myself here because I've done the same thing, do the same things. But your goals have to align, and then you just have to push through it, right? And this is, you know, playing sports. I don't want to say it's easier, but I've been in that mindset before. So it's like, hey, I've got to get up, whatever it is, 500 jump shots over the weekend or on Saturday or Monday, whatever it is. And no one's watching me. I don't have a coach there or a trainer there pushing me to do those things. Same thing with being an entrepreneur. I myself, owning self-storage facilities, do not have a boss sitting here telling me what to do, telling me if I'm doing it right or doing it wrong. I don't have those things, which I enjoy. I like that. I'd rather accountability be on myself. So I do think it's a trained muscle. Some people are probably born with a better accountability muscle than others. But I do think it can be a trained muscle. And, you know, to dive even further, a friend of mine, he's got everything lined up, right? He's probably you know, just off the top of my head, if he's waking up a little bit earlier or later than what he'd like, he's just hitting snooze and laying in his bed. He's just got to get up, right? And we're all there. Like I do it every morning. I wake up at 6 o'clock, but it's like you sit there for a few minutes and then you just basically have to mentally slap yourself and get up and go. Also, kind of to in relation to that is, what are you doing when no one's watching? Are you, after work, after whatever, are you watching 2, 3, 4 hours of TV a night? To me, I think that's, you're basically going brain dead watching TV. I watch very little TV. I do watch some movies every once in a while. I'll watch some sports every once in a while. But on average, a week, I don't know if I watch more than 2 hours of TV a week. Now there is Facebook, Instagram that I spend a little bit of time on. I'm doing my best to produce more content and consume less. I think that's probably the key, especially if you have some type of business or something that you can push. I think that's the key. And even if you're not, like, you don't want to consume that stuff that much, right? At some point, it just makes your brain dead. So again, what are you doing when no one's watching? Are you waking up early? And if you're waking up early, are you doing things to move the needle in a positive direction? Or are you sitting there scrolling YouTube, watching funny videos, or who knows, just bad things that you shouldn't be doing? And we've probably all been there at some point, but at some point you got to catch yourself and say, I'm not moving the needle. I've been talking about buying a self-storage facility for 6 months now, and I'm here watching an hour, 2, 3 hours of TV or YouTube or social a day. And that's just wrecking you, right? You're not moving the needle. It's not serving you. It's serving you in a bad way, to where you're not even standing still. You're actually going backwards because you're just putting junk into your brain. And consuming social media is not, there's tests out there, studies out there. It's just not a great thing. So you want to produce more if you can, or at least consume a little bit of the good stuff that you can find. And I'm just looking here at my notes. And if you are doing those things, that's fine. Just don't complain about where you are, where your life is at. Don't have excuse of why your life is where it's at because of who knows what. Boss doesn't like you. Whatever excuse you can come up with. Don't use those excuses, because you're not serving yourself by watching TV 3 hours a night, right? So again, it goes back to, what are you doing when no one's watching? And I think a big piece of that is, if you are working on the correct things to propel your life forward, whatever that may look like, are you being productive while you're doing it? So there are times where, we probably all get caught up in social media while we're working, or YouTube, watching like, I'll just watch a quick video here, take a break. I think it's okay to take little breaks, but don't get caught up in it, right? If you're on searching reels or whatever for half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, like, that's way too much. If you're going to do it for 5 minutes, do it, get back to work, get back to being productive. And I think being productive, having goals, which we talked about last episode, if you have clear, defined goals, all this is super easy, right? I've got clear, defined goals. So it's very easy for me to not watch TV at night or in the morning or whenever, because I have these clearly defined goals of what I want to do, where I want to go. It's also easier for me to wake up at 6 a.m. I tried 5 a.m. That's not for me. I need 8 hours of sleep. So 6 a.m. it is for me. But I have clearly defined goals on where I want to go. And I know getting up at 6 a.m. and then being productive. So I'll do a little bit of business as soon as I wake up, and it's minimal. It's not anything brain wrecking. I'll do that first thing when I wake up, just to kind of get the brain going. Then I work out, and then I'll hop on a little bit more business stuff before lunch or breakfast with the family. I know those things are moving the needle for me in a positive direction. So it's almost, when I don't do those things, which is on Sundays, because Sundays I take a break, which I think I need to, just knowing myself. I take a break on Sundays and don't do those things. But I've realized that then Monday through Saturday, I'm more energized doing those things when I do take that break. And I know that I'm moving the needle. I'm being productive. No one's watching me. I don't have a boss keeping track of what I'm doing, but my results eventually show, the progress that I'm making. So that's really all I want to leave with you today. I don't know if there's a like button, follow button, whatever it is. If the podcast is any type of benefit to you, please like it, share it, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks for following, subscribing, and listening to this episode of the Do More podcast hosted by John Farling. To learn more or ask questions, go to l4investing.com.